Hello everyone, welcome back to the DBA series. Today we are going to discuss about the RAC IPs in Oracle. We have different types of IPs in our RAC and we are going to discuss all the RAC IPs in Oracle today. Okay, Oracle RAC uses a multiple types of IP addresses. We have multiple types of IP addresses in our RAC and they have their different purposes. Okay, let's see what is the purpose of these respective IPs. Okay, each plays a specific role in ensuring a high availability and load balancing and internal load communication. Let us see what actually which IP does these works. Okay, high availability, which IP will be handling, load balancing, which IP is responsible for this one, internal load communication, which IP is responsible for this. Okay, first let us see about the public IP. This public IP is purpose. The main purpose of this public IP is general communication with the outside the world. Okay, and this public IP is used for the SSH administration level like a OEM Oracle Enterprise Manager, and whatever the OS level task can be done with this public IP, all the tasks of OS level can be completed. And this public IP will be configured in a /etc/hosts or a DNS. In this path, in the server level, in this path, this public IP will be configured or DNS, and this public IP is not responsible for any failover for our clients. Let us see which IP is responsible for the failover for our clients. Okay, this is about the public IP. Next we see the private IP. What is this private IP? Suppose we have a 3 node setup here. We can see the 3 node setup we have here: node 1, node 2, node 3, and for each node we have a private IP. Okay, and this private IP is responsible for internal communication between the nodes. Okay, internal communication between the nodes. Which is responsible? Private IP is responsible for internal communication between the nodes, and this private IP is used for the cache fusion. What does the cache fusion do? If I modified something in node 1, and those change blocks will be copied to the different nodes available, different node 2 or node 3 of SGAs. Okay, those data blocks changes will be copied to these nodes of SGA. Okay, that is handled by cache fusion with via the private network. Hope you are understanding about this one. Okay, internal communication between the RAC nodes, it can be done with the private IP. There should be a very high dedicated high speed network, because the data blocks changes transfer should be very fast. The data should be consistent in all the nodes. The data should be consistent, so it will be handled by cache fusion via the private network and not accessible from outside. The name itself says that this is the private IP, so it cannot be accessible from the outside. Okay, this is about the public IP and private IP. The next one is virtual IP. We can see here the main purpose of this virtual IP is failover IP for a client connections. Suppose we have a 3 nodes here, and any one of the node is failed. Okay, and this virtual IP will be helpful for the failover of a IP. Virtual IP will be helpful for the failover for a clients. Means helpful of this virtual IP. The next is a scan IP. Next is a scan IP, that is a single client access name. The main purpose of this scan IP is load balancing. Suppose here the thousands of insert, update, deletes are going on from the client side, and those load can be handled with scan IP. Host name will be given to the client to connect to the cluster of a database, and behind the scene there will be a 3 scan IPs we can see here, and usually it will be a 3. It can also be a 4, 5, anything, and this will be responsible for load balancing and simplified client configuration. And the main benefit of this scan IP is no need to update a TNS name if nodes are added or removed. If the nodes are added or removed in the cluster, no need to update the TNS names. That is one of the benefit, and it works with the listener scan processes. Okay, and in mainly the interview, many of the times he is asked that what happens in any one of the node get crashes. Okay, first what happens, the virtual IP whatever we have, the from the failed node, it will be moved to the available node. And the scan IP, it will be reroute the all the new connections to the available nodes. It will be reroute the all the connections to the new connections to the available nodes. And private IP it will be continuous the internal communication between the RAC nodes. Okay, this is about the RAC IP and different types of RAC IPs. And if you really understood about this concept, please hit like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.